Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Player's Choice Flex Show. It's been a little while since we've done one. We've been so busy doing eBay and mail and web orders and everything in this hobby is just totally blown up. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time for this. We've been trying to make time for you guys. I know we see lots of you guys on our Facebook auctions and our different YouTube show and stuff like that, so we try to make it work. So this time I thought, we've been wanting to bring like a special guest on the show or have somebody on like we did with Curtis a few episodes ago. So we thought, why not bring on one of my friends that's got an absolutely awesome set for you guys to show, and we could talk about. He's been a veteran collector. He's got lots of cool stuff and stories, and he's built this awesome set that he dropped off at the store today that we're going to be selling. And we thought, why not show this set card by card? You guys can spend some time with it. Pretty special set to all of us, all hockey collectors. It's awesome to see in person. I wish we could show it to you guys. I wish we could have like one of our auction nights or something like that and make it work. But we just can't make it happen. So you're gonna have to just live through this YouTube video, check out the set. Unless you got the money to buy this set, be forewarned, it is a six-figure set. So it's a pretty special set. Get a hold of us if you guys are interested. Like I say, the hobby is on absolute fire. It's been pretty fun to be on the ride, see what some of this stuff's going for. Every day records are being smashed in sports cards and collectibles, and it's so cool to see. Up until this year, I think there was maybe 5-6 cards total, maybe 10 cards that were over the $1 million mark. And a couple weeks ago on an online auction, there was 5 cards that passed the $1 million mark alone in one night. So absolutely crazy to see what's going on in the hobby. Super fun. Hopefully you enjoy this. Today we've got my friend Kevin. Katie will bring him on. Kevin's been a friend of mine for a long time. There he is right there. Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Good, Jason. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having you on. This is our YouTube people. You'll see. Hey everybody. I wish we could have you here with us, buddy, to go with this set. It'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah, well, we'll do what we can remotely. Not a problem.
There you go. So how long have you been collecting, Kevin?
Well, I guess I was collecting ever since I was a kid. I think it was the first year before the Gretzky rookie year. So I do have some vivid memories of the 78 year, the 15-cent packs. And what I can't remember is my allowance was $1 back then. And I always tried to get $1.05 so I could get 7 packs of cards instead of 6. So
get the extra packs.
Absolutely.
Too bad you didn't keep all those sealed instead of cracking them, eh?
Wouldn't that have been nice?
Did you keep any of that stuff, or is it long gone?
No, I do have all that stuff. It was certainly a little more well handled than my current cards are these days.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, my brother and my uncle showed up to our house, probably in like '85 or '86, and he had a Volkswagen Beetle. And we were ripping packs in his back seat of the bug, and we went to the store, and we had dropped them all down the seat and the gums and stuff. And it's funny the memories you have of certain cards like that, and absolute beat the crap. And I still got some of those kicking around, but it just kind of always sticks with you, no matter how many times you think about something. You think about to a certain year or a certain pack, or even just that smell of the OPG gum. The set you have now that you're going to show us, or that I've got here, we're going to show everybody. This is a little bit predated before us even.
Yes.
So what set are we going to look at today?
So today we're going to look at the 1951 Parkhurst set, and this is a very iconic set in the hockey world. It's from 1939 to 1951. There were no hockey cards being produced. There was a Second World War, so. Consequently, this set, I mean, there's 105 cards, and 97 of the cards are deemed to be rookie cards. Because
pretty big set, pretty big rookie year.
There was no previous set. So even though, Rocket Richard started in '42 and Howe started in '46, this 51 set still represents their rookie year, or the rookie cards anyway.
Because there was all the 1930s like OPG cards.
Yeah.
And then they've all paused, and then Parkhurst came along. I know they were making like wrestling and some hockey, and they stayed in the scene for quite a while, and then ventured out. And then Parkhurst has come back and left, and now Upper Deck actually leases the name for Parkhurst and makes a Parkhurst set, but it's not quite the same as the old cardboard stuff that we like to see.
No, absolutely, and this was a unique set. The cards are a lot smaller than today's cards, and all of the information's on the front, and the back is blank. And you can imagine some problems that have occurred because of that. It was the easiest set you could stick in a photo album back in the 50s, and get the gummy residue on and things like that.
It's always neat when I look at this set just to think of what this set went through and how long ago. I mean, we're at 70 years ago for this set. So to see them, and especially to see the high grade set that you have today, this set's in the PSA Registry. What number are you storing in the set?
So this is number 16 in the registry. There is one card that is a Beckett, and we'll be showing that one. It is Terry Sawchuk. If that card was PSA, it would bump by one number and be number 15.
15 in the whole world. So that's pretty impressive to get this whole set together and work your way up and be PSA and registered. We've owned tons and tons of cards of this set over the years. Most of them are trashed on or written on or really rounded corners, really damaged. I think I was telling you before we went on the air, years ago we were at a show, and one of my friends was going to buy a Gordie Howe PSA 7, and he actually bought it for $3,000, and I thought he was crazy. What's a 7 worth today?
You know, I haven't seen a 7 out. I mean, it was one thing to find it, and it's another thing to pay for it. But I would guess a 7 would be pushing somewhere in between $30,000 and $50,000.
Pretty good investment. So how long did it take you to build this set?
It took me about 2 years. I mean, they're not easy to find, and especially in good condition. I wanted it to be PSA 6 and greater. I still have one card, one of the commons that is under that. It's a 5, and I'm still searching for a 6 or greater. But other than that, they're all 6 or better. It was very tough to put together, and the way the hobby has taken off, as you know, right now, I'm very thankful I got some of the key cards in a year and a half ago rather than right now. It would be a lot different financial decision.
And does that sway in your decision to sell something like this? Like, you know, you bought it, you built it, you're going to keep it, but then when you see what kind of crazy numbers are on the market right now, I know we're all having that problem. I have that problem every day of selling Gretzky's or Lemieux or Waz, or I just got a crazy offer on a Crosby McDavid. Man, do you sell it because the market's so hot, or it's just so much money to have tied up into one item?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you need to have it doesn't sleep in the house. The set, a lot of the set sleeps somewhere else in a bank vault, and I guess I think of it as any other stock or commodity, and it's pretty high right now. But that being said, things could be, we could be having a conversation later, and it could be twice that in a year or two from now. I mean, we just don't know.
This stuff just keeps going up. I think this stuff's extremely undervalued still in the market. When you look at what like 50s baseball and stuff is doing, hockey is super undervalued. We're going to go over some of the populations here. You know what? We'll pull up a card so everybody can see what we're talking about. Most people would know these 51, 52s. Katie's going to get one up there for us. These are the little guys. Again, 51, 52 Parkers. Hopefully you guys can see that there. We'll start off with card number 1. How hard was this lock to get?
Elmer Lock was a very hard card to get. I mean, card number 1 and card number 105, and I think we already spoke about this. You get the elastic band damage on it from the 50s. That was how you stored your cards. So card number 1 is a very hard card. This has a population of 40, and there's only 47 that are higher than that.
Higher than the 6 on that whole thing. There's only 40. So there's not a lot in the PSA, and of course there'd be some Beckett's out there, and then there's a lot of old-timers and collectors that don't believe in grading, but there's still not a ton of cards out there when you compare to like serial numbered and stuff made today.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, let's move along. We've got a few different ones to go through. I'm not going to show every card. We'll go through some different ones, or favorite ones of mine over time. Here's the Butch Bouchard. Again, you said a lot of these are all rookies and key cards in this set. What's the population on this?
So the population is 38, and there are 66 that are higher. So just goes to show you that once you get to the third card down in the past the elastic band, the condition is a little easier to get.
Yeah, that band took a big job out of the cards, right? A lot of people had them rubber banded and in their mom's old tins or tobacco boxes.
Yeah, and the kids weren't playing PlayStations and Nintendos. They were throwing them against the wall and playing a game of closies. They were sitting in bicycle spokes, and they were playing marbles with them and shooting them at the goalies. So the goalies in particular are very hard to get in good condition.
Now, I just put up a monster of the set. Maurice the Rocket Richard, rookie card. Super desirable card. We've had, a few of these over the different years. The best I've ever owned is a 7. This is a 6. It's a very nice 6. It's just a little bit off center there, left to right. How long did this one take you to find?
About a year ago, this wasn't hard to find. It's getting close to impossible now. But you didn't have to go too far back, and it's just like any of the cards that in any year. I mean, you could pick up a Crosby rookie easily a year ago. You could pick up a Gretzky rookie easily a year ago at a reasonable price, and things have changed a lot in the last year.
What would this card run on the market right now, like a PSA 6, for example, just by itself?
I haven't seen any lately. My guess would be around $25,000-$30,000.
Just for the 6. Yeah, I know it's super hard. We used to laugh when we could only afford 1s and 2s of this card, and then every time we got them, they would always sell over the years. I sure wish I would have kept a bunch of them now. It's a favorite of a lot of the Habs collectors for sure. I'm just going to show the back so people know what we're talking about. Blank back, so they have nothing on them. You can see a little bit of the cardboard, and sometimes the color comes through. Lots of people used to write on them or draw their names or put stats on them. So there's definitely some interesting stuff. Here's a 7. So there's the jump up to a 7. That's a Bert Olmsted 7.
Yeah, there's 25 of those in existence, and there's 37 that are better. So, I mean, I guess you have to keep in mind that when you're talking about the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs and Detroit in the 50s as well, they were extremely popular, and there's probably more graded cards of those teams than there are of the Rangers and the Bruins and the Blackhawks. They just weren't as good and weren't as popular.
A lot more Canadians getting graded, right? Yeah, for sure. Here's the Doug Harvey. We just sold a game used stick of Doug Harvey, a favorite of a lot of Habs fans for sure. This is a PSA 7. This is a beauty.
Yeah, this is a very nice card. It's there are 37 that are better than this one out in the world. This one has a population of 45. It's a classic. It's a very, very nice.
So when we say, so the people know when you say there's higher, like, so there's no 10s of this. So is there a 9?
Actually, I believe there is one 10. I don't have that information handy, but I remember and for some reason I do think that there is one 10, and that is out there for an astronomical amount of money.
There can't be a lot of 10s in this set, period.
There are not a lot of 10s in this set. I mean, they didn't come out of, and this set, and it goes back to how this set was made. This set was, the cards were cut with a guillotine, and they were randomized by throwing them in a cement mixer. Yeah. So you weren't pulling them out of the packs at 10s. They were hard cards.
One of my favorite info and things on this set is that's how they mixed them up, was with the cement mixer. I like to always think of guys, sitting there just shoveling the bin full into the cement mixers and then making the packs in the little cardboard box. It's silly to think about, really.
Yeah, and those packs were picked by hand.
Yeah, and absolutely.
5 cards to a pack and 5 cents per pack.
Who's this Gordie Howe guy? Who's this Richard guy? This is a guy I don't really know much about, Floyd Curry, but I thought we would show everybody to see how nice an 8 is. So when you think that we get asked all the time, oh, my cards must be a 10 or mine must be a 9, Keep in mind, this card is 70 years old. It's sharp corners, centered pretty decently, and still only an 8. What's the population on this?
This population is 22, and there are 3 that are better than this 8.
So not a lot out there.
Not a lot out there, and yeah, I mean, you're right. It's 70-year-old cardstock, and I mean, the fact that the reds are as bright as they are is remarkable.
Super nice. I noticed top to bottom's an issue on a lot of these, like this Boom Boom Jeffrey on. It's hard to believe it's a 6, but you'll see the top to bottom there is just a little different on it. What would be the percentage of these that you got graded yourself compared to what you bought?
Probably about 10%. There were some that I had purchased that were in card holders from other companies that I cracked out and sent to PSA.
And that happens a lot nowadays where people have cards graded by Beckett or KSA and they all want one PSA, especially for the set registry. It's frustrating now. People ask us all the time, like, that your grading time's almost a year now, and it's not a cheap process. You must be impatient like me when you got so much stuff out and you're waiting for it back.
Yeah, it used to be 2 months, and that was long enough. Where are my cards? Where are my cards? But right now, when you're picking a card company to go with, it just seems like the whole PSA ecosystem that they have is just the most superior product out there.
Yeah, and definitely for the vintage, I would agree with you. Here's a neat one. A lot of our Facebook auction guys will get a kick out of this name, Dick Gamble. It's a PSA 8. This is a nice Dick for sure. It's centered, and see, I knew I'd get a laugh out of you. Don't cut away from him. I wanted to see his face. I did that. It is a beauty for sure. What's the population on this?
There are 42 of those and 3 that are better.
Only 3 higher. Hey, so that set, the highest registered set, must be an absolute monster.
Yeah, and that's why, you can only get so far up on the PSA list because the people that have the cards that have built those sets aren't giving them up unless they're selling the entire set, and they've got the cards that are going to make your set better. So
that's right. I thought I'd show this 7.5. We get asked all the time, like Beckett does half grades. PSA actually does half grades too. How many cards do you have in here with the half grade?
I think there's probably 2 to 4 that are half grades. They don't come up very often, especially on vintage. And I don't know.
Isn't that hard to believe?
I don't know if they always. It seems to me they didn't always do halves, but I know Beckett did. But
yeah, PSA started the half grades. I don't know. I would say 5 years ago, maybe something like that. They don't do the 9 halves, so it's either a 9 or a 10. They don't do a 9.5. I think they're saving that for down the road when all these people try to have all their cards by 9s and they want to bump it up, and then they'll get another round of grading out of people. So smart marketing, but you don't see the half grades a lot from them at all.
You don't, and I think once you get to the middle of this set, there's going to be one of the very key cards that actually does have a half grade on it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a nice one. I know. I might have peeked at that one. Bill Quackenbush, one of my favorite cards of the set. That's a nice 7. I owned one of these years ago, and we got it graded, and it was so nice, and everybody wanted to buy a raw. And I think I was telling you the story. It came back a 4 or 5, and I just wouldn't believe it. And then we cracked it and sent the same card back in, and it came back like a 7 or an 8. Just to go back on when you were upgrading some of your cards and cracking other grades and stuff, what percentages do you think like you were happy with, or what ones were you shocked with when they came back?
That's funny. I did crack both Beckett and KSA, and not one of them was the same grade from PSA that was either Beckett or KSA. And, I was happy with some, unhappy with others, but, I wanted to standardize on PSA.
It just kind of seems like that's the what most people think, right? Is you're not going to be happy with everything. Here's the Milt Schmidt card. That's a nice PSA 7.
Yeah, very nice.
Here's Adam. Who's Adam Brown? And that must have cost you a bundle as a PSA 8.
I actually don't know who Adam Brown is. There are 43 of those, and there are actually 15 that are higher than that card.
So nobody knew who Adam Brown was, and nobody played with him, is what you're saying. So they just it's like a lot of the old Beehive cards. The commons are worth way more because nobody ordered them. So here's another 8. I don't even know how you'd say that. Fred Huckel?
Yeah, Fred Huckel, or we have 45. Yeah, there are 37 of those and 7 that are better. And it's funny. As kids back in the 50s, you were probably handling the Rocket Richards and the Gordie Howes a little more than you were Adam Brown and Fred Huckel.
That's right. Here's a Bill Mozienko. We're going to show this card. It's absolute beauty. This guy's a fan favorite, Chicago area. PSA 8. I think he still holds the record for the fastest hat trick. Do you know that?
Yeah, I think
I want to say it's 21 seconds, maybe, something like that. Something like that. It's absolutely insane. But we should look back that up. We know a little bit about Bill Mozienko. His grandson played here with the Kelowna Rockets. So there's a winning goal. Now this is a very key card in the set.
It is, and this is one I cracked and sent in myself.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I'd have to go look up what I bought it at. Actually, I believe I bought it at a KSA 7 or 7.
And you moved up to that, eh?
And it went to a 6.5. I was hoping for a 6 or better. Obviously, that was the basis of my set. But this is an iconic goal. It's the 1950-51 Stanley Cup winning goal. And it's also one of the very much sought-after cards of this set.
It is an absolute beauty. It's one of the early action shots in sports cards.
Yeah.
So most of it is all just the still photos, right?
Absolutely. The only action shot of this whole set.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Red Kelly, PSA 8.
Yeah, that is obviously Red Kelly Hall of Famer. There are 33 of those and only 5 that are better.
Only 5 that are better, hey? This is an absolute gorgeous set, guys. If you've got the bankroll or the money or the investment, or you could talk the wife out of it, add this to your collection. You would be super happy. Here's the Ted Lindsay rookie. We got to spend some time with Ted. Oh, seems like a long time ago now doing a signing. He was absolutely awesome. His stories and his face, he looked like a warrior. The scars, and he was just such a nice guy, and I remember that. And we took the time to sit and just visit, so he's super cool. But I've never owned a rookie this nice of Ted.
Yeah, there are actually the population is quite high on Lindsay's. There are 61 that are better than this card. So,
what's still 61? It's not a lot of cards.
it's not. It's funny how you throw that half in there, and all of a sudden there's a ton. But that's most of those would be 8s, obviously.
Yeah.
And, but it's Hall of Famer rookie card.
So we'll get to this. The only Beckett graded card in the set. If you keep this set, are you going to switch this to PSA? Beckett 7, Terry Sawchuk.
Well, I had that opportunity when I sent them all in, but from what I paid for Terry Sawchuk 7, and to crack it and have it potentially, you just don't know. It looks like a great card. It looks pretty well centered, but even if it came back at a 6, it would be extremely disappointing.
You'd be losing, never mind a 5 or something, but you might get a 7.5.
Yeah, you don't know, and you can take a gamble on a common and easily replace it for $100 or $200, but it's a different story for Sawchuk.
When you're buying this kind of card, it gets awful pricey. Here's a Delvecchio 8, another big Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, only 12 that are better. Very sought after card, Delvecchio.
Most sought after card that I've been asked for so much in this last year. Everybody seems to want it. You got it. Gordie Howe rookie card. Got to be the star of the set, eh? The most expensive card in your set?
It is. It's funny. You always have the conversation in Canada about who was better, Gordie Howe or Rocket Richard back in the day. And I'd hate to say that you just have to go look at the price of these two cards. It is as much as Rocket Richard is an expensive card, Gordie Howe is the card of this set.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Gordie Howe rookie, everybody wants it. Everybody wants to have a Gretzky rookie. They want to have a Gordie Howe rookie. I'm not saying they don't want a Richard rookie, but you can bet almost every American and collector of the set, they're still picking Gordie over Rocket. It's a toss-up, especially in Eastern Canada, who they would probably like. But we get asked for the Gordie Howe probably 10-1 over the Maurice Richard.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's a high number trending on this card now?
As far as the population or the
price? Well, what's the population, and what would somebody expect to fork out if they're going to go buy a nice Gordie Howe card?
There are 55 of those. There are 89 that are better. You're probably looking 25, 35, or even 40 for Gordie. There are some 8 for sale that are in the 80s, I believe, $80,000. It's crazy.
I know you and I always joke about this card because you offered me this card this summer, and it was way cheaper than that. But that's the way the business goes.
We were $1,000 apart, and you just wouldn't budge.
I just couldn't get there. I've had, since the market's gone crazy the last little while, I've had some. I was $200 apart with a guy with a Ken Dryden PSA 9.
Oh man,
$200 measly dollars, and now that card's about 3 or 4 times to what I was going to pay for it. So, it's just the way it is, right? You can't you pay in your means and you buy what you want. But there's a couple cards I wish I would have had this one in the box for sure. You would have just had to go upgrade this though, then something even nicer.
That is not in my budget to upgrade.
Well, if you sell it, it might be. What about Howie Meeker? Just passed away this year. Great guy, was great on TV. Met him a few times. Funny stories. Was this one hard to obtain?
It took me a long time, actually, to obtain that one, and I ended up with 2 of them, and they were both 7s. I've already sold the other one, and it's funny. It was in transit to me when Howie passed away, actually.
Oh, okay. So a little sentimental when you get it in the mail.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. But yeah, absolutely. I think we all. If you're of a certain age, you remember him on Hockey Night in Canada.
Absolutely. What about this card? One of the cards that's not a rookie in this set.
This was the last card that I bought, and it took forever. I think I had a 1.5, I had a 2.5, I had a 4, and then I finally found the 7. And I think this gets back to kids shooting marbles at cards, and particularly at the goalies in the 50s. And it's just, the goalies are so hard to get in any kind of condition. And you can imagine that Turk Broda, and this is actually, Toronto actually had Turk Broda and Al Rollins. I think they were the only team with 2 goalies in this set. But Turk Broda was very popular, and it was an extremely hard card to get in good condition.
I think I know another goalie that's tough to get in this set is the Chuck Reiner card. Card number 104. I often get asked for this card too, when we're on the road or at shows or people building this set. How tough was this one to find?
It was one of my first purchases, actually. I think it was just one of those things where it was out there and I grabbed it and I got it for a good price. And, this is another card that's one away from the elastic band, right?
Yeah, well, that's the card I'm going to show next. I'll show the Jim Conacher last card of the set. I know we're moving fast, guys. If anybody wants to make an appointment to see the set or see Aspires, let us know. We'll set up a time we can meet for sure, just to go over it. But be warned, it is a 6-figure set, so it's a lot of coin. It's awesome to see in person for sure. Last card of the set is a 7.5. That's a beauty for considering a lot of them are damaged.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. It's not an easy card to find in good condition. Obviously, there are only 30 that are better than this one. Oddly enough, there are 5 7.5s, which for half populations, you wouldn't think there would be that many. But
no, for sure not. Well, it's a nice card for sure. So, well, Kevin, it's been awesome having you on. What sets are you working on right now? What's next for you?
I am, so I'm doing vintage baseball. I am working on a fully graded 1957 Topps set. So that's Frank Robinson, Brooke Robinson, rookie year, but still full of Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays.
What min grade are you doing on that one?
I am doing actually 5 and above on it.
Is that the one you and I started? Did you buy the bulk of that off me a couple years ago?
I did buy a pile of raw from you, and some got sent off, and I just started buying.
I probably don't want to see now what some of that is worth, but that's the way it goes.
And the other set I'm working on is I'm going to work on, and probably one of the other iconic sets in the hockey world is the 1971-72 O-Pee-Chee set.
One of my favorite sets. Yeah, absolutely.
Dryden rookie, LaFleur rookie, and I'll probably spend the next couple of years putting that together.
And what are you doing a minimum grade on that?
7.
7s on that. Hey, it gets, you know what? It gets really hard when you get to 8s and 9s on that set. I've built a lot of 71-72 O-Pee-Chees. Never a full grade set. Never complete. I always bail out.
The most expensive cards, I think, may not be LaFleur and Dryden as much as they are the checklist.
The checklist is an absolute beast right now. And then the LaFleur's caught a lot of steam, and the Dryden. And you know what? The card number 100, the Bobby Orr card, is getting really tough too. That card is getting really hard to get in a high grade, or you could find it, but it's costing you a lot of money.
Yeah, I think Orr is picking up steam as well, just across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had that PSA 8 rookie this summer, and I sure wish I had it back. But that's the way it goes. I'm working on it. You never know what we're going to come up with. You know what? I've got, so we'll get you back on with the sets. I've got a 54 Topps set. I've got a 64 tall boy set in stock right now. I've got a bunch of different 50, 60 sets. It's fun just to go back and forth and talk about the cards and stuff, Kevin. We'll get you on. Maybe when this COVID's done, we can actually do an in-person like this. It's a little easier to interact and stuff, but it's been awesome. Thanks for taking your time. Thanks for the set. I'll make sure I don't leave the set in the vehicle tonight. You'll be okay.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Kevin. Have a good night.
Great.
So, everybody, that was our 51-52 set. Super fun. Kevin's a good sport. Awesome collector. We've known each other quite a while now. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of money, and a lot of time to build an amazing, awesome set like we just showed you. Keep in mind, we probably only just showed you like 20 or 30 of the cards that are in that set, but every single card he's got in that box. I don't know if Katie can zoom in or not, or you can see. Look at how many cards are all PSA graded, all 6s, 7s, 8s. Awesome set. I know some of those cards cost as much as your vehicle, so it's not going to be something you purchase, but it's super fun to look at. And I know there's people out there that would only wish the dream to own that like I do, but hey, you never know. That's what sports card collecting is about. We're going to head out of here. We've been on the air long enough, and we're going to work on a few more sets for you. We'll try to get on the air more. Hopefully things lighten up a little bit, and we have a great summer around here. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.